Welcome back, everybody. It's been a while, but we're going to be back at it again. I finally found the time to be able to get back into what I've wanted to do for a long time. We'll get into why later, but as for now, we're back with GregTech, and I've seen that there's tons and tons of updates to it, on top of the fact that it looks like now we have like 1.20, which is totally going to mess with me considering we've got these FTB quest. I'm used to doing the quest book with the other one. It was in 1.12. So we're going to go ahead and progress through this again and see how much further it's gone. I've seen some comments on the videos that I posted 3 years ago with pollution, but let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, we're just going to check this box off. It's intended as a guide for GregTech Community Kit Edition Unofficial Modern, also known as, new content has been added to every tier, even going up to Ultimate. So that's something else. I know we didn't get to go through all of the tiers because back when I did it, there wasn't stuff in every tier. So that's actually pretty exciting. Brings the mod up to date with recent versions. Oh, what did it say? You can open the quest book with the default F4, so we'll have to remember that. And then this is a pure tech mod pack focused on GregTech and its progression. You will find no better place to learn about this mod. All right. So if you're familiar with GregTech, you may be aware that there are many nerfs to vanilla recipes. GregTech doesn't go easy on you. Take a look at the crafting recipe for buckets or paper. However, we'll ease off it instantly in the early game, and one log will give you 4 planks. So I guess they decided to make it to where the one log will give you 4 planks instead. I don't think they gave me a jukebox. They gave me a CD. But, okay. It's quite delightful to be back doing this. Something that I've been wanting to get to. And while we collect some of the stuff needed for the mission, I will go ahead and explain a little bit. But basically, with the real job that I had to work tons of overtime and stuff project-wise with the last 3 years. And I think it was like about a month or 2 ago that I really got everything done where I don't have to work as much overtime. I get the time to actually spend doing my own things. So I can actually take the time to do this. I think one of the roughest things is I do have kids, and some of the shifts that I ended up having to work were late into the night, and that's the time that I would usually use to record. So, kind of just ends up being that way. All right. So we've got that, and it now wants us to make the crafting bench. So we will go ahead and just make a simple crafting bench, which finishes that mission. So now I guess we'll look at a couple different things here. We obviously need to get into rubber trees, and it looks like I didn't even notice it at first, but oh, that's a pine. That is a pine. So we have to go exploring to find us a rubber tree. But we've got more ore generation. The ore generation in GregTech is different, so this is as before, different from vanilla or normal modded Minecraft. All ores generate in huge veins, which can contain hundreds of ores. GregTech does feature this specific community edition one. It features the functionality of visual prospecting natively, which will mark discovered veins on your map. Right-click an ore block in the vein or on a surface rock to add it to the map. Oh, that's a little bit different than before. Or a surface rock. Yeah, add it to the map. You can toggle the ore vein view in the lower left corner of the full screen map. The full extent of ore generation is explained in Tips and Tricks tab, but here's what you need to know. Ore veins generate in a grid every 3x3 chunks from one another, so approximately. I guess this is interesting because it was always 3 and now it's approximately 3 chunks from each other. And then it's good practice to make waypoints. Default is in for every vein you find. And to label their type, you may want to come back to the vein several times. So we'll go ahead and check that off. Whilst frolicking on the surface, you may have spotted a couple of surface rocks. These little guys indicate the type of veins that are below them. Just right-click or mine the surface rock to receive corresponding pile of tiny dust. This will also add the vein to your minimap. You can now use EMI to learn more about veins underneath your feet. Just press U on the tiny dust you mined from a rock to find the corresponding raw ore. Then press R. From there, navigate to the ore vein diagram. This page contains details on what types of ores generate within it, their generation patterns, and their spawning dimensions, the Y level range, and their spawning weight. That is interesting. I don't know why they specifically mentioned that it's new, because you could do that previously in the older mod pack. So you need to get rubber trees. It can be found in forest, jungle, or swamp biomes. Breaking rubber logs will yield sticky resin, which will be important moving forwards. The logs also offer useful resources when processed in the future. So close that. Who needs Vein Miner? Were you aware that GregTech comes with its own set of tools? If not, you may also be pleasantly surprised to hear that they surpass their vanilla equivalents. So the GregTech Axe basically vein mines the tree for you. This is something they definitely had in the previous version, which was quite nice. As a reward, take these spruce saplings. And then just use it to make some big trees so that you can chop it all down together. But we do need to make any kind of lumber axe. Then we've got, what do I need to progress? Here's a nifty list of some resources that you'll need in bulk for early game. Collect more than we are asking for in this quest, and you'll end up running out before you know it. There are always good habits to gather more than you need in GregTech. We'd actually advise you to tackle this quest first, so you can claim its reward, which is iron. That's actually really good. That way, you can do a little bit of a main progression before you're forced to go mining. 8 furnaces might seem excessive, but if you're new to GregTech, but trust us, you could never have too many. That is very true. We'll come back and read this one later. But so let's look at this. We need 32 sand, 32 clay. We need 4 rubber trees, furnaces, and sugarcane. Well, with a forest over here, we got swamp. That's interesting. I guess we'll go over to the swamp to try to find our rubber trees. Is this a forest? Yeah, those are forests. So then we'll have to come over there to get some clay, unless we can find it over there. But let's go to the swamp to get our rubber trees first. Actually, we'll do the regular tool things really quick. Make ourselves a pickaxe, get some stone, and get going. One of the things you might notice as we play through this playthrough is going to be like the previous one. It's on peaceful with no mobs, considering this is supposed to be trying to find out what's going on, especially since, like I said, reading comments before, supposedly there's pollution now, and I am very interested in that, as I've played some other games like Factorio before, where you have to deal with pollution management. I'm wondering kind of what that entails, as I have not looked into it, just because I do want to be surprised. and learn how to work a strategy out ahead of time, or not ahead of time, but on the time that I have to start dealing with it, instead of being like, oh, I already know what to do with this. So I kind of find it a bit boring when I know exactly what I'm doing long before I'm even going into it. And I like trying difficult things and, working through the problems that way. So now that we got that, we can grab ourselves a regular pickaxe. And then I think we'll do a shovel and an axe. What do we got here? So that's the regular. Let's look at how to make those lumber axes here. Lumber. And is it something that I have to do anything other than, it looks like anything other than stone? Because I'm pretty sure it's the same. Oh, no, it's not. That's right. Yeah, so it's not the same crafting recipe. That's good to know. Feels a little bit weird when it is the same exact crafting recipe. But let's get over to this swamp biome that's in the middle of nowhere. Oh, there should be some clay right there. Let's actually investigate that. I get that it's a no, that's not the right flower, is it? No, it's not the right flower. That's actually something worth asking, is do they have that in this one? Important information. Be sure to properly read this quest, as it has some important information that remained relevant throughout all of your playthrough. Information quests such as this will appear in the chapter they are unlocked. You would also consult the guides and more quest if you feel like you're forgetting something. The quest structure is intended to guide you through all of the major milestones in GregTech progression. Every single quest should be beneficial to look at in some way. If something is 100% optional, we'll mention it. There is no worry about missing any, so don't worry about missing anything crucial. There are no drawbacks to playing this mod pack in peaceful, why we're playing it in peaceful. In fact, we highly urge you to do so, as there are little benefit from hostile mobs. Feel free to also use the /keep inventory and set home and abuse minimap teleport as you see fit. That's something I don't prefer to do, though it could be a nice tool to use if I really decide to do so. Although we don't force these things in the settings onto you, we don't intend for this mod pack to be providing a punishing survival experience, but more so help you learn the ins and outs of GregTech Community Edition. Lastly, it is good to be savvy with EMI GregTech items. Will frequently have several recipes, so you should never assume the first EMI display is the most efficient. Professional EMI usage involves the identification of patterns in auto-generated recipes. Example, all iron-related items macerate into iron dust. When complex recipes arise, and we won't sugarcoat, GregTech Community Edition can be intimidating. We'll make sure not to direct you towards the more efficient routes. However, we'll urge you to experiment on your own. Okay, that's not what I was hoping to find. Let's see if they have tips and tricks. Yeah, nope. Yes. That's distillation. Promoting sustainable playthrough. Looks like you may be wondering how large quantities of common resources is used in GregTech. This might be old news to seasoned players, but is actually possible to set up passive processes to make various materials and chemicals fully renewable. We added this chapter to lead you towards some setups that you might desire. Obviously, there's no need to do all of these, but who doesn't love free resources? There's no way you could document all the renewable routes in GregTech. This quest page merely serves as a primer to lead new players through their options. Not every option listed in this quest book is optimal, so we urge you to experiment. So that's not quite what I was looking for. Farm, yeah, no. So I don't see what I was looking for. I was looking to see if they have that thing where there's like a flower that leads you to clay, but I'm not seeing anything. Did we get given a mineral scanner? We did not. So I guess we'll handle that in a little bit. As for rubber trees, I should find one fairly easy in here. Not too rare. It looks like those are vines. Apatite and pyrochlore. I think I see one over there. Is that right? No, that's a spruce. I wonder if they changed what it looks like and you can't really spot them from a distance anymore. Doesn't look like it. Has one over here. So maybe we just go back to the forest. Well, I'm going to go ahead and cut it here for a second, and we'll be back when I actually find those. Alright, so the forest and the swamp so far have yielded no success, but I am going to walk across the river here, digging up clay, as I notice that there's another swamp on the map if I go this direction. So I figured I'd just kill two birds with one stone in the process. Man. I forgot, that was one of the reasons I wasn't, like, too thrilled, though, of trying to find stuff in the newer Minecraft once they said they were going to come out with it. Just seeing as it just didn't seem like it would lead to a great time with the generation that they are, like, kind of moving towards. Seeing as now you've got so many different forest biomes, so many different, just different biomes in general, where it's like, okay, sometimes they don't work the exact way you want it to. It's some of these mods. But you wonder if Flower Forest is actually going to spawn what you need it to. But I didn't see any over there. We're going to move over to this other swamp, as it seems to be way easier to find that stuff in swamps. I think we needed sand too, so we might as well just get the sand. Got some sugar cane here. Trick together rapidly over here. And seeing, I found actually one last thing that is going to be kind of nice, because it leads to being able to do some stuff pretty early. Yeah, there's the 32. I think I'll hold off until I come up to another patch. Ooh. Some more cows. Don't know how much leather is going to be used, but I figure to get some of it while we're able to. Feathers is another one. Don't know how useful feathers are going to be, if at all. But don't really want to clog my inventory with tons of useless junk right away. Okay, a little bit overstacked there. And we'll just continue searching for that tree here in just a second. So, again, I'll be back once I get to the swamp and look for that tree there. Alright, we made it to the swamp here. It was literally just right over there. Like, not even that far, but hopefully we'll be able to find that rubber tree now. But I don't think they would have reskinned something like that. I think they would have left it relatively similar. But yeah, these biomes are getting funky because of this, and I don't know if that's... So what I think it is. Do we find some free stuff? Yeah, we found some free stuff. Cool. Awesome. A backpack for free. There is a town, actually, too. Sapphire. Neodymium and gunpowder. That's pretty nice. But the nicest part, for sure, is a backpack. Can we actually put this on our back? Pretty sure we can. Yep. Nice. So free backpack. Just store a bunch of stuff we don't need. We'll pull the sand out because we'll need that in the future. We got that. Put the clay up here too. And we'll leave the rest of that up there. Actually quite a nice find for early on because backpacks are useful when you want to go out and gather resources. What is that as a copper? Gonna have to climb, it looks like. Garnet sand. So we'll go ahead and just pop down a waypoint really quick and head up. This is a very interesting swamp biome to have to climb mountain to go up. Find out if there's even a single tree here. And watch, there's not going to be a single one up here too. Yep. That's great. Well, at least we found something useful. And it looks like there's another one right on over there. These swamps are not very big. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Can we move around? Flower forest. That's a big swamp. That might be where we need to go. Yeah, there's a village over here that I was going to go sit at. Oh, and there's a meteorite. Meteor. BT. Oh, right. Yeah, don't even notice by that. So we're just gonna say AE2. If I could type it, that'd be great. Man, I really don't want to just jump down, but see, and then scaling that mountain's gonna be a pain too, just to get over to the other bigger swamp over there. But there's the sugar cane we need. I'll go collect that, check out the swamp over here, and we'll be back if I find a tree. Well, found it. I probably stared at it a bunch of times already, because it is different. It looks totally like a regular tree. So I guess we're going to have to chop this thing down here. Hopefully get a good chunk of saplings. And with both a swamp right here, and there's also an oil reservoir just this way, not too far. I think this is where I want to set up the base, and it looks like there's another asteroid, another meteorite. Just south? Is that right? Nope. Yeah, southeast. Just southeast of here, so I could actually get like everything all in the same area, which will be nice. We got exactly 2 saplings from that one, so we'll just come over and chop a couple more down. Yeah, the requirement for both of the quests, and so you got the one that requires 8 saplings, and then be back when that's done. Right, we got all of them, and it looks like we've even got a couple more that we could grab, but I got all the ones to finish both of them. Go ahead and add a waypoint for this mica. And then we're going to move right over here. This is where I think I'm going to build the place up here. So get a resource of oil. we're going to be right next to the ocean, so I don't have to level too much stuff out. I'll just have to build platforms, which will be nice. I like big platforms and stuff for different things to be able to just then start rooming up things afterwards. But let's go ahead and look at both of those quests really quick. So we get resin. Rubber trees can be found in forests. We already got that. I am a little bit annoyed at the fact that they changed it. And I guess we need to just do our furnaces now. So we'll go ahead. I guess I have some in the backpack is where it is. Go find that little spot that has a little cave right over close by. Thought I saw one, but even just digging into the side of a mountain is a good start, because not a mountain, but a hill. Mountain out of a molehill, you know. Get the stack of cobble that's needed. Build those furnaces. Get ready for a little start. I do find it a lot of fun to do the hard, difficult mod packs, especially because when you start looking up some of this stuff, especially with this GregTech, you start finding out that a lot of the things that they have you do are like similar, not entirely accurate, but pretty darn close to what you'd have to do in real life to get the different materials. Like the oil distillation process is pretty much the exact way that it's done. The ores that they use and which ones you get out of it, pretty accurate as well. It does make it quite interesting just to kind of like learn a little bit more from video games than you expect. It's my favorite thing to kind of tell people about when I tell them I've played this particular mod pack, is that you actually learn quite a bit. But we've got that. We can now place our crafting bench down. I think we're going to just walk right on over here, place it down. And make all those furnaces that we need. 8 furnaces. Finishing that quest, getting the 24 iron. So, with that one, iron-bearing ores. So I guess it wants us to get some iron-bearing ores before. See, this is what I'm talking about. In the real world, iron isn't only found in pure iron ore. Instead, it is found in a variety of oxide forms, minerals. You'll want to go and collect quite a bit of iron, because you're going to need a bunch very soon. If you're struggling to find some, the Ore Generation Quest tab contains a lot of information on ore veins. You may also want to check the ore spawn information and ore byproduct list. Any of the raw ores we're asking for can be directly smelted into iron. That comes in 4 different veins that can give you iron. Lastly, fortune does not work on GregTech ores, unfortunately. That's perfectly fine. Whilst it may be a common habit to hoard ore in modded Minecraft prior to unlocking some of the ore multiplication, don't worry about ore processing yet. Direct smelters remain the most efficient method for a long, long while, given how easy it is to obtain a lot of ore in a mining trip. Gather any of the requested raw ores to complete the quest. So I guess we'll plop down our stuff here. Our furnace column, or furnace rows. We will mark this as home base. An ore generation? Is there an ore generation? Right there. So, some of the details repeated from Introduction Quest. Ready for some light reading. So you know about this. Ore veins generate in a grid. Every vein is spaced by 3 chunks from one another in the cardinal directions. Each vein generates an individual pattern. Some are round, some are snaky, and others you'll discover for yourselves. They spawn at the center of the chunk. They spawn at the center of the chunks, which both have their X and Z coordinates be 1 plus a multiple of 3. Check both their X input. Okay, interesting. You will typically find 2 veins in the selected chunk. One will be in the stone layer, and the other vein lies in the deep slate layer. However, ore veins may be deleted by caves, oil deposits, or from trying to generate above the ground. It's good practice to make waypoints at every vein you find and to label their type. You may want to come back to it several times. The classic ore vein is 7 blocks tall, generates 4 different ores, the top, the bottom, the between, and the sporadic. So you have top 4, bottom 3, and the middle 3, and then the last one is kind of your rare resource. The same ore type can be in 2 different generation patterns, such as cassiterite veins. So yeah, there's cassiterite in 2 different parts of it. I believe it's the top and the between or something like that, but we check that off. If we find the different things, we'll actually know which one we've got. Interesting. Okay. That did not give us our thing, but looking at this, if we go to, where's the smelter? Blast furnace? Oh, no, we don't want we want recipes, not. We want this, and we want ore diagram. So it does appear in the copper vein. For iron, I guess we want to check on the dust. So we got basaltic mineral sand, granite mineral sand, impure iron, and magnetite. I have stumbled across a couple already. I could go over to this copper vein to go mine what I need. So that's what I'm going to go do. We'll get over there. I'm going to make a couple more pickaxes so that I have those on me. Do we have mining hammers? That's the other thing, actually. Mining. So what does it take to make the mining hammer? We just need that shape. So I think we'll make 2 more stone pickaxes so we're not wasting our iron. I'll make a single iron hammer to start so that we have that for mining as much iron as we can really rapidly. But I'll meet you back after I've collected some iron. I might even pop in for a second showing the iron vein. And we'll be back. I know it's a bit dark down here, but I did end up stumbling across what I was looking for. Looks like we just got some lava down here. I don't think I can break this enough to get light up here, but it's... we're all the way down at very, very deep layers for this. So now looking at this, let's look at this again. So this spawn range for overworld. I don't really know how to read this now because we're lower than 40. Or lower than minus 40. And then we're at... yeah, so we're all the way down at 44. So what? Did it spawn like at 40? Yeah, it spawned like right at 40. That's pretty crazy. And then it looks like we have iron. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. So we know how tall it is. It looks like iron's the ore that's going to be the rare one of this. Is that right? Let's look at this recipe one more time. Yeah. Pyrite, copper. So we got copper is the main one of a copper vein. And then I guess pyrite's also iron. So we have that. And then calipite would be copper if smelted normally. So we can just kind of mine massive amounts of this, which is why we grabbed this thing first. Should have emptied the backpack before I left the base, but now we have a hammer that we can just go ahead and smash into. What the? Oh, don't tell me I did this wrong. Oh, I did it wrong. Well, you get crushed ore. I don't think we can get any more out of it. But that was a mistake. I forgot about that part. That is a total waste. So I guess I'll be sitting here for a while, mining as much as I can of all of this to get a decent amount of iron. In fact, I might just go back up so I can build that thing since I screwed up. I knew it seemed too easy. I was so sure that it was way too easy. And I was right. So now the question is, do we even have enough to make all of the tools that we need to make one? Probably not, which is why I'll be mining for a bit. And I guess this is where I'll wrap it up for now. I guess next time we'll actually start making those useful tools. Build the tools that get us started into GregTech. And then start working towards the machines. Have a good one, guys. Bye.